My name is Ken Shelin, and I'm making a presentation called Moving Forward, Just the Facts, which is a response to the misinformation and misleading claims made by the group called STOP. STOP has published some printed material with a number of claims about their purposes and goals, and this is a response to those. First of all, STOP has indicated they want to put a stop to increased traffic. The fact of the matter is that 14 people a day, every day, move into Sarasota County, and recently we found that this area is the 10th fastest growing metropolitan area in the United States, so you can't stop increased traffic. The key here is to find ways to move people in different ways than in cars. So we cannot stop traffic. We have to be creative in finding alternative ways to fix that problem. STOP has also indicated they want to put a stop to narrow sidewalks, but they think that eliminating the administrative review process will do that. They claim that public input prevents or encourages, actually, narrow sidewalks. The fact is our narrow sidewalks and narrow streets are a legacy of the 1920s city plan developed by John Nolan. The city, on the other hand, has in recent years tried very hard to widen sidewalks and to make the city downtown area more pedestrian friendly. And it is succeeding at that, and little by little we're fixing that problem. But fundamentally, the street and sidewalk requirements are contained in the city's engineering design criteria manual. It's not an issue that you can change during a public hearing on a development project. STOP has also indicated that we are excluding, or the city is excluding, the citizen's voice in the development process. That's patently absurd. Citizens have a voice where it matters most in the drafting, the formal consideration, and the adoption of our city's comprehensive plan, our zoning code, our zoning text amendments, and the engineering design criteria manual. It's fundamentally unfair to try and legislate through individual public hearings the rules by which developers must adhere. STOP's also indicated that they want to preserve Sarasota's quality of life. I don't know what that is, except that since the adoption of the new urbanist downtown zoning and administrative reviews, downtown has been revitalized economically. It's become the largest residential neighborhood in the city with about 6,000 residents, has become a regional hub for cultural activity, has become a location for a wide variety of high-quality restaurants offering diverse cuisine, and a shopping area successfully competing with St. Armand's Key and at least 3 major shopping malls located in Sarasota County. STOP has suggested that compatibility is not considered any longer, even though it's been in the zoning code for some time, in the development of projects. The fact is, the issue of compatibility never went away. It's in Section 4-506, Standards for Review, in the city's zoning code. STOP has said that they want to prevent the expansion of administrative approval outside downtown. This, if it happened, would discourage the development of small infill affordable housing projects where it is most likely to occur in the neighborhoods. This would also make lending more uncertain for affordable housing projects because lenders have already indicated that they don't like the uncertainty of public hearings and therefore probably would not commit to lending to such projects. But more importantly for me is that the public hearing process would shift process management for the developer back to lawyers instead of the city planners now controlling the process. STOP has indicated they want to update and improve traffic studies to improve planning and funding for transportation, but their discussions are always focused on vehicles, moving vehicles. What we really ought to focus on strategically is moving people, and there are many ways to move people. We can move them in buses, we can move them on bicycles, we can move them in water taxis, we can change the public transportation system in the county and the city so that people are moved around downtown, and we encourage people to get out of cars instead of ride in their cars. Healthy, dense development in the urban core helps to reduce metropolitan vehicle miles traveled and to prevent urban sprawl, which STOP suggests that they are supportive of. But more importantly for me, STOP is misleading the public by their claims. They're not telling the public that the administrative review process is in the city's comprehensive plan, and changing it is a lengthy and difficult process involving the state. Whereas if we wanted to change the setback requirements for buildings, or if we wanted to change the requirements for sidewalk widths or street widths or bicycle lanes, we could do that locally without any involvement for any other governmental entity. They're not telling the public about this difficult process. They're not telling the public that small infill affordable housing projects would likely not happen with the changes that they propose. They are not telling the public that there have been significant, many beneficial projects which have been the subject of administrative review in the downtown over the last 13 years. Just look around you and you'll see them. Not telling the public that administrative reviews are performed by educated, credentialed, experienced, and highly qualified land and city planners. Public hearings do not improve on the process, as experience shows, and public hearings can lead to extra-legal decisions, political decisions, which then result in lawsuits. And they're not telling the public that the administrative review process came about in the early 2000s with property owners who were downzoned in the downtown area as an exchange for avoiding a lawsuit that could have cost the city millions of dollars because of the change in the land values due to the downzoning. STOP is not telling the public that anyone can be informed of pending development projects by frequent emails from city staff. They're not telling the public that anyone can appeal for public hearings before both the planning board and the city commission by paying a fee. And if the fee is onerous for the group or the individual, they can appeal to the city commission for public hearings to have that fee waived. And there are no criteria for waiver of that fee, so they can make any argument that they find is useful to them before the city commission. What's really important about this whole discussion, which is focused on the View project in downtown Sarasota, is that the View and the Embassy Suites Hotel being built nearby would have been approved whether we had a public hearing process or whether we had an administrative review process, because the decision is always, does the project meet the requirements of the zoning code, not the preferences of the individuals who come to a public hearing.